Philip to Evelyn, 5 June 1945. My darling, don't know if you ever knew till now, but invariably when I've done a lot of uninterrupted reading, I get the urge to write something of my own. On only 2 occasions, though, have I ever had the opportunity coincident with the urge. The first time was when I dashed off Itusa Interlude. The second time was today when I knocked out a little thing called The Love of Mike. Sound familiar? In 2.5 hours flat. I think it's a much better idea than the one I had for the previous one for the same title. What pleased me most about this afternoon's work was that I didn't have to stop to think once from the first word to the last. Unlike Itusa Interlude, the idea didn't hit me like a bolt from the blue. I was reading Esquire when I suddenly got fed up with reading. So I put the magazine away, lay on my bunk, and thought out the story I wanted to write. This took about a half hour. Then I picked up my pen, sat down at one of the 2 tables here in the ward, and wrote steadily till I finished. I don't know how you will like the bit. It's barely enough for a short story, but when you've read it, I hope you won't consider it so much wasted time and effort. Not that I had anything better to do, except perhaps to write a better story. However, I'm rather pleased with it. I think it moves right along, and the ending, in my opinion, is sufficiently punchy to please most people. I'm going back to base tomorrow when I'll try to find enough time to type it. When you've read it, honey, you can do as you like with it. Burn it or save it or submit it to Collier's or Saturday Evening Post if you think it's good enough. I've been wondering if Esquire might not take a more kindly view of the interlude. I'd appreciate it, sweet, if you'd make a copy and submit it to that mag. I'd be proud as hell if they accepted it. Let's try, huh? Maybe we'll get some constructive criticism. I love you. I love Adele. Hell, I love everybody, but especially you. I am your Phil. Evelyn to Philip, June 6, 1945. My darling hubby, it is unbelievable, but a year has passed since that day of days, D-Day. The future looks brighter, and it is possible that next June 6th will see an end to all warfare. It must. I was delighted to receive 3 letters from you, sweet. They were yours of May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. How's that for good time? Not bad at all. I always feel that you are closer to me when your mail is fairly recent. There is really very little in your letters that inspires any comment on my part. I'm indeed happy that someone is finally taking an interest in what makes you tick the funny way that you do, and I hope that this time it is not all in vain. Imagine the cost of such a procedure in civilian life. Woof! That is why I feel that you should stand some chance of securing a discharge if they cannot cure you of your constant indisposition. I'd like to have a chance to cure you of it myself, if they'd only see things our way. Your letter of the 31st contained a paragraph about the GIs that get on your nerves because of their conceit, etc., and you sometimes despair for fine free world of the future. Since I've been separated from you, I've found that true of almost every single person I've met. People just don't seem to be as fine as they used to be, and I'm terribly disappointed in most of them. There are too many of them, and it worries me too at times. The food shortage has not affected me at all. I eat much more than I ever did, and I'm not quite as fussy as I used to be. I've cultivated a taste for vegetables that I never had, and many other things that I used to detest. When I gave Adele 1 meatball, I usually get her to sing the song. I hear Bing and Lauritz Melchior often, and they are a sketch. I'd like nothing more than to join you at this very moment. I could use a rest like you're getting at the present time, and then some. Harry went to the racetrack yesterday without saying a word to Goldie, and was she hot when he walked in at 10:30 last night. I'm afraid she's going to have a lot of trouble with him now that the races are in again. He has become friendly with a crowd of ginnies, as Goldie calls them, and says he can make a little fast money. Harry is such a character at times. I'm writing this at work. You may wonder how I received your letters. Simple. I waited for the mailman this morning and was rewarded for my wait. It was rather late when I got Adele to sleep, and I spent the remainder of the evening knitting on her sweater. I had a glass of milk with apple pie. Both moms spent the entire day at 4920 baking pies with apples my mother had bought, and the pies were delicious. Took a quick shower and hit the sack to take a page out of your book at 11:30. Guess you kind of know that I love you very much, honey. So much that you're Ev.